game of believe it or not. Kmart, I start with you. If we said the Bucs are still Super Bowl contenders despite losing Mike Evans likely for the season, believe it or not?
Oh, yeah, Greeny, I believe it. Listen, unfortunately, they've played a lot this year without Mike Evans. They're clearly a better team with him, but they have other receivers. I think the last game, bad game, bad sign. I think that game was just a bad game. So I think they'll be all right.
That's what we talked about yesterday, Nick. You still believe in them, obviously Baker having a magical year.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. They still have some players that they need back. Obviously, Mike is not coming back, but they have other players that I think could help this team get better. And Baker Mayfield had one bad week. He's been awesome all season long.
All right, let me jump to the next, believe it or not, here. I want to move these because I want to spend some time on the last one. Nick, if someone said the Lions are the best team in the NFC, believe it or not?
Yeah, I believe that for sure. I mean, I think the problem with that is there are a couple other teams that told me they're the best in NFC. I would believe that.
Okay.
But the way that the Lions performed against what we thought was the Bucs and the best team, and the way that they performed in their secondary with all those replacements back there, the way Jahmyr Gibbs ran the ball, like this team feels like they're the same Lions that they've been for the last 3 years, which is scary.
You know what we need to do? I'm going to rank the top 5 NFC contenders later. That's what, because there's so many, because you were talking about Seattle to me all morning long.
5-2, Seattle.
Well, there's 3 5-2 teams in that division. Okay, set aside some time. In the second hour, I'm going to rank the top 5 teams
There's
in the
probably
NFC.
7 or 8.
Well, I think there are 8 to choose from.
Yeah.
We'll take the 5. Meanwhile, Jeff.
Yo.
I'm ducking as I ask this one. If I said the Chiefs are the most complete team in the NFL, believe it or not?
Not. But I'm scared. So all right, I'm going to say not right now because I've said this many times. I think the Colts are the best team in the NFL. The Chiefs have me scared because Rashee Rice coming back makes this thing tighter than I would like to admit because both defenses, they're both doing their thing. They're very similar. The only thing I would give the edge to with the Colts is their run game versus the Chiefs' run game, just the explosiveness of Jonathan Taylor. That again, I liken to what the Eagles did last year.
Green, can I ask Jeff this? Because I think I'm a viewer at home. I'm thinking, okay, well, he's a Colts guy. But objectively, if we're going Chiefs wild card round going to Indianapolis, you would pick the Colts right now?
I would right now. If I see the Chiefs continue to progress like they progressed the last 2 weeks with Mahomes playing Jones, that's where I would hesitate, right? If it continues to move up, because what he does for their offense, and again, we've only seen it for 1 week, 2 touchdowns right off the gate. I mean, you're like, and then that lets the Spags defense really start to turn it on. So, yeah, I'm definitely not wiping the Chiefs off this list, but I'm holding on for one more week.
Let me show you.
One more week. Hold tight, Colts. Let's go, baby.
Let's put up D17 because the Chiefs, they're getting scary. I mean, there's a reason for you to be scared.
Yeah.
In their last 5 games, they're averaging just a tick under 30 points. It's their best 5-game span since 2022.
Yeah.
That's when they still had Tyreek Hill. That's the year in which they finished first in the league in scoring offense. Look, let's face it. Getting Rashee Rice back changes everything. It moves everyone to where they should be. Rex Ryan said the other day, he's a top 5 receiver in the league. No one ever talks about him that way. And let's not even get into an argument about that. He's certainly, obviously, a great player. No team in the league, Neek, is going to make an acquisition around the deadline here more significant than him coming back.
Yeah, the argument for the Colts in this case is like you have to look at the full body of the season. They've been better for a longer time.
Yeah.
The problem with matching that up against the Chiefs, the Chiefs went to the Super Bowl every year for the last. They've been in the championship
5 of 6,
since Mahomes took over. So if we're matching up track records, then all we needed for the Chiefs was them to show us a little life. And in 3 weeks now, they didn't win all the games, but in 3 weeks now, this offense has looked like an offense that you can trust. And in the modern NFL, if you have an offense that can score like that, then it gets pretty scary. The point that you would make, I think, is the Colts offense has looked like that all season long.
All year. And I will say this, the game they did lose against the Jags, Mahomes ain't throwing that. He throws that once a year. He throws it once a year, right? Going in the red zone on the 1 yard line, he dumps it off and he takes it back all the way. That's just not going to happen. Like if you're betting on Mahomes to give you the game, you're betting poor odds. And so you ain't boosting that bet. So
it goes without saying that obviously Rice, lifts all the boats and everything. But this is what they were saying when I was talking to them the first month. Like, hey, hang on. We don't have Xavier Worthy 100%. We don't have Rashee Rice. Let's judge us then. And it does seem like on a 1-game sample size against the Raiders, like, all right, no one's stopping this team. But then again,
it was 31-0. So, I mean, I don't care. I get you're saying. It's the Raiders. It's not playing against the Colts in that situation. They beat an NFL team 31-0, and they was kneeling it out with 3 minutes left.
No doubt.
And benched their starters at the end of the fourth quarter.
Colts beat them 40-6.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway,
I'm just saying, believe it or not.
we'll have this fight all year long. But I want to show you. I want to show you something else that happened, because this one legitimately, like, you want to talk about jaw-droppingly surprised.
Let's go.
It started with Broncos head coach Sean Payton taking a subtle dig at his former quarterback Russell Wilson while praising Jackson Dart after the game on Sunday. Listen.
You know, they found a little spark with that quarterback. I was talking to John Mayer not too long ago, and I said we were hoping that change would have happened long after our game.
Russell Wilson heard that, and Russell Wilson tweeted the following: classless, but not surprised. Wow. Didn't realize you're still bounty hunting 15 years later through the media. Hashtag let's ride. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
This is Russell Wilson. You want to talk about letting Russ cook? Let's go. He's never done this in his entire life. Who are you?
Okay.
And what have you
7
done?
digs in one tweet.
That's unbelievable.
Here's my question. Sierra, was that you? Was that you behind the scenes? Because I know I would do that. Because I'm sure Russ was probably like, hey, tweet this. Yeah.
But it's from his account.
I
So
know.
whoever
No, I
wrote
love it because part of why I think Russ has rubbed people the wrong way, at least, you know, publicly, is sort of like he always says the right thing and he's always politically correct. And now it's, yeah, you should say something to that man because Payton berated him. For him to get that off, I love it.
Let's face it. He hasn't just reacted by saying the right things. He's reacted his whole life by saying nothing.
Yeah.
His entire career, he has become almost. It's almost something people make fun of. We hear his former teammates sort of sometimes take shots at him because he doesn't seem to ever put any blood into anything. I thought this was one of his most human, relatable moments that I can think of from Russell Wilson in the 15 years he's been in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I think the criticism's always kind of been that it's been inauthentic. That's authentic.
That's a good word.
That's authentic. Like, you hurt my feelings. That wasn't nice. It's authentic. Unfortunately, for the excitement of this conversation, like, I feel like Sean Payton has plausible deniability. And to be fair, he kind of insulted Russ and he insulted Jackson Dart. He was like, hey, that quarterback gave you a little spark. Like, that feels disrespectful too. Either way, I'm happy that Russell, when you are the backup quarterback, you feel a little bit more leeway to say the things you want to say because you don't also have to then go back it up on the field.
He went to Bountygate. I mean, it got personal.
It's like the poison pill in the NFL. Like,
yes.
we don't mention. Right. And he went there and then did the hashtag Let's Ride, which is like completely self-aware.
Yes.
I will say this.
Well done.
I thought of Michael Jordan taking the tablet, and I took that personally.
For sure. I loved it. Finally, Russ did it. Listen, Sean Payton can be petty. He got a little something back. It's fun for everybody.
Let Russ cook. Demovsky is with us here. This was a very entertaining little moment. Let's just roll it, and then we'll see how it felt.
I'm really happy for our guys.
Hey guys, real quick, Mike is going to do it in the locker room, so if you're waiting on Mike to hear, it's going to be in the locker room.
But then we look like ass.
No, you can go. I don't care. He had a career night. I mean, I don't blame you, Rob.
Feel like a.
That's right.
So you, sorry,
Can he say that?
yeah.
He's awesome.
So there it is. Demovsky just ditched the coach mid-sentence to go talk to Micah Parsons, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. You know, the job calls. You got to go where the story is, and I went.
All right, Rob Demovsky is with us. Brooke Pryor is going to join us as well. So we're going to have the Packers side of it. We're going to have the Steelers side of it, because this hour begins with a reunion 20 years in the making, although it will take place in Pittsburgh. It's Aaron Rodgers on one side. It's the Green Bay Packers on the other. Rodgers and the Steelers coming off a disappointing loss to the Bengals last Thursday night. There's a lot of pressure on Rodgers, obviously, in this game. There's a lot of pressure on Jordan Love to win this game against his former mentor. There'll also be a lot of pressure on him to win, considering the Packers haven't won in Pittsburgh since 1970. The last time the Green Bay Packers won in Pittsburgh, Bart Starr was their quarterback. Since then, Green Bay has lost 6 consecutive trips, including Jordan Love's 2 seasons ago in his first year as the starting quarterback. So, as promised, we have both sides of this thing covered. You see Demovsky, you see Brooke Pryor live with us from Pittsburgh. Awesome to have both of you here. Brooke, we'll start with you. How is Rodgers approaching this game that we know he has had circled on his calendar for probably 3 years?
Well, Greeny, we'll talk to Aaron Rodgers for the first time this week in a couple hours, and I'm going to guess he'll play it pretty close to the vest, but he's already hinted at how much this game means when we talked to him after he beat the Jets in Week 1. He told us that he talked with Breece Hall on the field after the game, and he said, look, I mean, I want to win. I want to beat, any team that I play, but here in New York, I was only here for 2 years, for 18 games. It's going to feel different when I play Green Bay because that was 18 years of my career. And he offered another hint for how it might feel to face a former team after Jabril Peppers, a former Patriots player, had a fumble recovery against the Patriots, and he said, yeah, as a former player, that's what you want. You want to make a big play against your former team to show them what they've been missing.
And just a quick follow-up for you, if I can, just on how he's looking. For the fans who are not watching every game, the last game was, of course, a nationally televised game on Thursday night. I think there's a feeling that he looks right now as good as he has looked at any point maybe since his second to last year in Green Bay. Is that the feeling in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly how Aaron Rodgers said he's feeling, too. He said that he feels more like himself. That was something he said before the Bengals game when we talked to him after that Browns win, when we first noticed that he was moving around a little bit more, extending the play more, kind of scrambling before making a throw. And we saw that against the Bengals when he took 8.6 seconds on a scramble drill to find Jonnu Smith. And he credited a lot of that to body work that he'd done with his body work guru out west during the bye week. He said he'll meet with him a couple times this season, but he's got Rodgers feeling loose. And by the way, Rodgers has only been sacked twice in the last 3 games. Micah Parsons might have something to say about that, might make Rodgers move a little less fluidly, but Aaron Rodgers is feeling like a vintage version of himself.
Yeah, Micah Parsons is a different kind of bodywork guru, if you know what I mean. But I understand the point that you make. All right, Demovsky, so to you here, how about the other side of this? The Packers going up against Rodgers. I'm old enough to remember when we lived through this 20 years ago or whatever it was with Brett Favre. How would you describe the buzz in Green Bay?
Well, with the team, Greeny, we'll start there. Maybe the guy most excited to play Rodgers is Micah Parsons. A couple of years ago, they played here. It was Parsons' second year, and he told us the other day that after that game, Aaron Rodgers went up to him and said, I want to swap jerseys with you, and Parsons couldn't believe it. He said, the GOAT wants to swap jerseys with me. As a young player, he said that gave him a huge boost of confidence. Now, he didn't sack him that game, but he said he has a ton of respect for him, but this week he wants to sack him. Inside the building, Matt LaFleur tried to make it about the game. He said, we're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who happen to have Aaron Rodgers, and there's not that many guys here who played with him. Well, there's a few more than that. There's 13 guys that played with him, but obviously this is the young team, so a lot of guys had not played with Rodgers. But around town, Greeny, you mentioned that game, the 2 games that they played Favre in 2009. There was serious venom from a strong portion of the Packers fan base. First, for the Packers letting him go, and then second, for Favre ending up in Minnesota. It's not that way. Rodgers, I think it was just time for him to go. It was time to end. That was the feeling here then, and it's the feeling now.
It's awesome. Thank you, Demovsky. Go back to cursing at the coach. We appreciate your time. Brooke, we'll see you later today after Rodgers talks, and we'll see what he has to say. So, I mean, Jeff, I hear this from players all the time, and it doesn't matter if you're one of the most famous quarterbacks of all time or a center or anybody else. Yeah. When you play your former team, especially when you were there as long as you were in Indy or Rodgers was in Green Bay, it is a very different experience.
Absolutely. It's extremely emotional, much more than any other game. Everybody talks about, all games are the same, they're all created equal. That's not the truth, right? Like, this is when you look across the sideline and it's all the equipment, all the athletic trainers, all the doctors that you've known for 20 years, the coaches that you played under. Those are all relationships that you fostered for a number of years. And ultimately they decided you weren't the one for them, right? And they moved on from you. There's pain in that, right? And again, it's because it's in Pittsburgh. There's a little bit of difference. To me, all the pressure for Aaron Rodgers will be self-imposed because of those relationships. And that's just a tough, I don't care who it is. Your first throw, you want to win that one more than everybody else. And that's just the facts of it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think it's numbed a little bit with the jet stop in between, to be honest. He already showed the venom. Aaron Glenn wouldn't meet with him. We had that storyline. I got to beat those guys. I want to show that. To me, this is a couple years removed. Jordan Love seems to be good there. He seems to be happy in Pittsburgh. It's almost like it's a love. I disagree with you guys. I don't feel like it's this same feeling of this charged, I've got to show them.
This man literally, this is, that organization said, hey, we're good on you.
Yeah.
We're good. We got this young thing. We're going to go with him. And Aaron Rodgers, when he came to the Jets, was sort of like, I was a little confused that Goody wasn't trying to sit down and talk to
FaceTimed him. He tried.
You know what I mean? Like I do think whether he admits it or not, you're about to see your ex with their new thing. Yeah, it's personal. Stephon Diggs playing the Bills. He said it's personal. Like they all admit it after the fact. That's just how they are.
Yeah.
I think Rodgers is going to want to win this game desperately for all those reasons and beyond. I think that when you look at the game itself, the Steelers are 4-2. I've never heard a 4-2 team less respected by all the people who come in here. I do 5 different shows a week. I have 5 different collections of people. I don't have one person who says, "Oh yeah, the Steelers are good."
Why? I'm going to push back on that. Why are you terming it as disrespected?
Well, I mean, because the record is what the record is.
Yeah, but people are also basing it off of how they've played. Did they lose to the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Flacco?
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, even before that, I think people were a little bit critical of them.
I guess what I'm saying is...
For good reason, though. When you look at their roster, all the reasons that Jeff talks about the Colts being the new Eagles and how everything works in concert together, we have moments, and in fairness, the Steelers mentioned this. Mike Tomlin's like, this bye week, we got to get this offense on track. You know, the production in the red zone has to go up. People are wondering what happened to Pat Frymouth. He scored 2 touchdowns, but still, like everything, each drive, it's like something stalls, and then you get the Aaron Rodgers big play to DK or somebody else in the end zone.
I tell you why it is. Well, it's because the defense isn't as good as it's supposed to be. Like, Rodgers is more than holding up his end, in my opinion. Like, for a guy to be 41 going on 42 years old in a couple of weeks, I think he's doing every bit you could have asked of him. We thought he was coming to a team that had a defense that could carry him the way your buddy Payton, with Denver at the very end.
Right.
That's not what's happening.
We're not getting that from the defense, and I think we expect it to turn around at some point because they're still able to rush the passer, and that's always kind of what they did best, rush the passer and stop the run. The problem last week was they didn't stop the run, which then you don't get to be able to rush the passer. And winning in your pass rushes is one thing, but turning them into sacks and turnovers is another thing. They haven't been doing that nearly as often as you should, considering how successful they've been at rushing the passer. The Packers had a real hard time offensively against the Browns. The Steelers have similar personnel. Like, they have the capability to play man and rush Love and give him problems. But they haven't been able to do it so far this season against much weaker, you would think, opponents than they're going to face. So we'll see what happens, but they haven't done it.
Maybe the thing that everyone says that the Steelers have going for them is the division. Like Graziano sitting in that chair yesterday said the most consequential result of any game in the NFL this year was Cincinnati winning that game last Thursday night because it kept everyone in the race.
And also, everyone was injured. The Ravens were on the bye. It was like they had a Thursday night game, and they could really put their stamp on the division right here in Week 7. And they lost in historic fashion. To Nick's point, Jamar Chase was the entire operation. 23 times he was targeted, and they could not stop him. There's obviously a weak spot, and that is that defensive backfield where they invested all their money this offseason.
To finish this part of it, I love your relationship analogies all the time. So I get Rodgers, what's the Packers side of it? Like, he's the one, you dumped me and you're with your new thing. Yeah. Like, what are the Packers thinking as they face Rodgers now?
We don't need you.
We good.
We good over here.
It's an emotion with which I am so unfamiliar. I can't imagine. All right. So